So you've decided you want to do some bushcrafting. Congratulations! Now you probably own 5 knives, 3 ferro rods, and a YouTube playlist longer than the Oregon Trail. Or maybe you're just a beginner. But before you march into the woods like a Viking, let's talk about 8 mistakes every new bushcrafter makes and how you can avoid face planting into one of them, literally. Number 1, the knife doesn't fit your hand. Too many new bushcrafters get caught up in the looks, the tactical finishes, the oversized blades, survival gimmicks. But a bushcraft knife isn't a fashion statement. It's a tool that you'll rely on for carving, for feathering, for fire prep, and 100 other tasks when you're camping. If your knife feels like it's a brick wrapped in sandpaper, then guess what? It's not the one. If it's too big or too small or just plain awkward, you'll spend more time wrestling with it than getting anything done. And it's not just frustrating, it can be dangerous when fatigue or poor control kicks in. A good bushcraft knife should feel like it was an extension of your hand, comfortable, balanced, like it was molded for your grip. You want something that disappears into your hand, not something that makes your thumb cry after 10 minutes of carving. Take your time. Try a few out, borrow a buddy's knife, whittle a stick or two before committing. You'll know when you've found the right one. A couple of knives that really stand out in the bushcraft world are the Morricane Eldris. It's small but mighty. Great for neck carry or precision tasks. The Morricane Companion is also a classic go-to for beginners and seasoned bushcrafters alike. It's very inexpensive. Or the Scout Feather. It's great because it has a ferro rod built into the sheath and a sharpener, so it's really great for beginner bushcrafters. Bottom line, don't just pick a knife that looks tough. Pick one that works with you, not against you. Using Paracord for everything. All right, this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. Paracord. Yeah, I said it. Look, Paracord has its place. It's great for making bracelets, right? Zipper pulls or trying to tie gear to your pack. I mean, it looks cool. It feels like a survival must-have, but when it comes to serious bushcraft tasks, it falls short, literally. Paracord stretches more than your buddy's excuses for skipping camping trips. That might not seem like a big deal at first, but when you're trying to set up a taut ridgeline or secure a tarp in the wind, that stretch turns into constant sagging and constant readjusting. It's a real pain. And if you're counting on it to hold up under tension, good luck. Enter bankline, the unsung hero of the woods. This stuff is the real deal. It's usually made of strong nylon twine coated in tar. Yep, it smells a bit funky at first, but it holds up. Bankline doesn't stretch. It bites down on knots and holds them tight. It's crazy durable, it's UV resistant, abrasion resistant, and waterproof right out of the gate. It also takes up less space in your pack if you really get down to it because it's smaller in diameter. Personally, I swear by number 36 bankline. It's a little bit bigger than this stuff right here, and it's the sweet spot. Thick enough to handle shelter building and other heavy-duty tasks, but slim enough and manageable for finer work. Great knot retention. Zero drama. It's awesome. And let's be real, cutting paracord is really annoying because every time you cut it, the ends just fray free like this. And so you're fumbling for a lighter. You have to melt the ends to get them to stay put. And if you're doing that, dozens of times with a bushcrafting project, that's not going to be any fun. Bankline, you just cut it and it's done. No fuss. There, see? So yeah, ditch the paracord as your go-to for bushcraft. Keep a little bit for backup if you must, but make bankline your main workhorse. It's a small switch that makes a huge difference in the field. Number 3, cutting down live trees. New bushcrafters love chopping stuff. I mean, I get it. Axes are fun, but cutting down live trees, yeah, don't do that. It's usually illegal in most parks, so we work with the landscape, not against it. Cutting live trees is rarely necessary. Instead, look for dead or downed wood. It's abundant. It's everywhere. It burns better. It allows the forest to keep thriving. Dead and downed wood is your best friend. Leave the living trees alone. They're doing fine without your help. Number 4, not researching the area. Primitive camping sounds awesome, right? Stars overhead, no one around for miles, just you and nature, until it ends with you being not so politely escorted out of the woods by a park ranger named Chad. who's definitely not impressed with your off-grid setup. Trust me, you don't want to end up on Chad's clipboard. Before you pack up and head out to live your best wild man or wild woman life, do your homework. Not all land allows primitive camping, and rules can vary wildly from one area to the next. Are fires allowed? Can you harvest wood? Are there wildlife restrictions? What about permits? And hey, are there any local cryptid sightings that you should know about? Because fighting off Bigfoot with a marshmallow stick isn't on most people's bucket list. Research is key, not just to stay legal, but to stay safe and respectful of the land. You're stepping into someone else's backyard, whether it's public land, private property, or protected wilderness. Know the rules and you'll avoid fines, awkward encounters, or worse, getting booted out mid-trip. Here are 2 apps that I personally rely on when I'm planning where to camp. HipCamp. Think of it like Airbnb, but for campsites. HipCamp connects you with privately owned land where people actually want you to come camp. You'll find everything from established campsites to open fields, forests, and off-grid hideaways. Once you find a spot that catches your eye, talk to the host. Ask if they allow primitive camping on a portion of their land. Be upfront. Tell them your shelter plan, how you'll manage waste, and reassure them that you've committed to leave no trace. Most hosts appreciate respectful communication and are more than happy to work with you if you're responsible. Onyx, specifically Onyx Backcountry. Onyx is a game changer, hands down the best mapping app out there for campers, hikers, and anyone who wants to know exactly where they are. With the premium version, you get access to land ownership data, property boundaries, public versus private land overlays, and offline maps. It's really awesome. It's incredibly helpful for staying on the right side of the fence, literally. No more guessing if you're camping on someone's ranch or within the boundaries of a national forest. It even helps you scout potential sites in advance by satellite, which is really, really helpful. The bottom line, primitive camping is amazing if you do it right. A little research up front means less drama later, and it keeps Chad, the park ranger, from ruining your weekend. Skipping fire prep. When it comes to fire, preparation is everything. You need more dry tinder and kindling than you think you do, especially in damp conditions. Take your time, build a solid foundation. When you prepare properly, fire becomes a comfort instead of something that's frustrating. Starting a fire without prepping properly is like trying to cook dinner with one noodle. You need more dry tinder and kindling than you think. Then double it, and maybe even triple it. One habit I've picked up over the years and highly recommend is keeping an eye out for dry tinder as I move through the woods. Whenever I spot something good, like a fluffy clump of dry grass, shredded bark, milkweed pod, or a perfect puff of old man's beard, I'll just grab a bit of it and stuff it in my pockets. It might seem like a small thing, but it serves a couple of important purposes. First, it keeps me tuned into my environment. You start paying attention to textures, colors, how moisture collects, what types of plants or materials are most reliable in different conditions. It's like training your brain to constantly scan for survival resources without even thinking about it. Second, and maybe more importantly, it means I've always got a stash of dry tinder on hand, even if the weather turns cruddy or I end up somewhere with damp ground. There's nothing worse than needing to get a fire going and realizing everything around you is soaked. But if you've been casually collecting little bits as you go, suddenly you're the one with dry tinder when everyone else is struggling. It's a simple habit, but it takes zero effort and it can make a huge difference when you actually need it. Plus, it makes you feel kind of like a woodsman squirrel, always prepared, always one step ahead. Just make sure you empty your pockets before laundry day. Your washing machine or your significant other does not appreciate mystery bark and pocket fuzz all over their clothing. Trying to use a ferro rod without practice. A ferro rod is a reliable tool, but only if you know how to use it. Too many people wait until they're cold and wet in the woods to try to use it for the first time. Practice at home. Get familiar with different tinders. Learn how to use it well before it matters most. One trick I like to show people is that if you're having a hard time getting the sparks to land in the right spot, try pulling back on the ferro rod instead of shoving the knife forward on the ferro rod. In this way, you're able to get closer to your bird's nest with the tinder in it and ensure the sparks are going as close as possible to where they need to end up. Just a little tip. Number 7, batoning with a cheap knife. Batoning is where you take a knife and you use it to split wood by hitting it with another piece of wood. And if you have a cheap knife, it's gonna break, like this one did. Cheap knives and batoning go together like paper towels and hurricanes. You can try it, but it's gonna end up badly. Batoning puts stress on your blade, and if that blade came as a 2-for-1 deal online, it's probably not up to the task. Get a full tang knife, built to take the abuse. One that's built for bushcraft, strong, reliable, made to last. The right tool makes all the difference, and having a knife that you can actually baton with is really fun, but also very useful when you're out in the field. Conquering nature instead of coexisting. Bushcraft isn't about conquering nature with a Rambo knife. Real bushcraft, the kind that connects you with the land, is about learning to live with nature, not overtake it. It's a mindset of humility and respect. Take only what you need, leave no trace, and treat the wild like a sacred space. The best bushcrafters, you'd never know they were there. No cut trees, no scorched earth, no trash buried in shallow holes, just the forest, untouched as it was. That's how you know you're doing it right. So how do you actually live that out? As I mentioned earlier, never cut live trees. Just don't. Unless you're on private land and the landowner says it's okay and you absolutely have to. But it's usually not necessary, and it damages the very environment you're trying to connect with. There's almost always plenty of dead and downed wood available for your needs, whether you're building a shelter, crafting tools, or just starting a fire. Beyond that, practice the leave no trace principles. They're more than just guidelines. They're the foundation of ethical outdoor living. Plan ahead and prepare. Know where you're going, what the regulations are, bring the right gear, and have a plan B for things like fire bans or bad weather. Number 2, travel and camp on durable surfaces. Stick to trails and established campsites whenever possible. If you're going off trail, choose firm, dry ground. Number 3, dispose of waste properly. If you pack it in, make sure you pack it out. All of it. Even those tiny bits of food in your toothpaste spit. Number 4, leave what you find. Admire cool rocks, feathers, bones, and plants, but leave them be, especially in areas with invasive species. Moving natural materials around can do more harm than good. Minimize campfire impact. If you're gonna make a fire, do it right. Build a small fire ring out of stones, if there's not already one there. Burn only dead and downed wood. Nothing green, nothing live, and never burn trash. Before you move on, make sure your fire is out cold. Stir the ashes, pour water, repeat until it is absolutely cold to the touch. Number 6, respect the wildlife. This is their home. Keep your distance, don't feed the animals, and don't do anything that would stress them out, like cutting through a bedding area or making loud noises near a nesting site. Number 7, be considerate of other visitors. Whether you're miles from anyone or on a shared trail, be courteous, keep noise to a minimum, and leave space for others. So yeah, bushcraft is more than just gear and grit. It's mindset. It's a skill set. And yes, sometimes a humbling experience involving wet socks and failed fires. But learn from those mistakes, laugh at them, and keep growing. If this helped, drop a like, subscribe, and share with your favorite tarp-obsessed friend. I hope you found that useful, or at least entertaining. We'll see you later.